Cool. So welcome again to our CSTA community call. We are looking at the slides that are available. We've got some pieces that we're going to go through on this agenda, and we're just going to jump right into things. I've gone ahead and skipped down to slide 7. And on slide 7, I just want to highlight that one of the things that we do throughout this call is we offer opportunities for folks to offer updates from the community. And we have this shared Google Doc where folks can add things. And so I'll take a minute to share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. This is a living document that can be updated throughout this community call. So if you are someone in Arizona who has some different updates that might be of interest to K-12 computer science educators, sometimes related to computer science and sometimes tangentially. There's a couple of things that are in here already. If you would like to add your own updates to this document as the call is going on, feel free to do that. And at the end of the call, we'll check back in and talk about some of these different headlines and updates. So if there's some things that are coming up and would be worthwhile for Arizona computer science educators or just Arizona educators to know about, feel free to add your information to this document. We include this then on our newsletters and emails. And it's an opportunity to spread other events that we might not know about around to other Arizona educators. Cool. So just to highlight that, that's a spot where you can add other events that are happening. And we're going to jump in to our summer PD updates. And so I am on slide 9, if you wanted to take a look at slide 9 with us. Very cool. Last month was when we really kicked things off and made a bunch of announcements about our menu of professional development options over the summer. And so all of that information is being highlighted on our CSTA website. And so there's a link on that Google slide that goes to the latest information. And that takes you to our CSTA website, which is sort of the hub for everything that's going on there. One of the new things that got added that our CSTA secretary put together, Lotus put this together, which is really awesome, is this little table that goes through all of the different things we're offering, some quick facts about them, and the audience that's available. And so I'll go ahead and share my screen so you all can see this. It's this little table right here. And so this takes us through all of the different offerings that are available for Arizona educators. And you can see who's the people who are providing it, the audience that's available for it, and some quick facts about these as well. These now also show up on our CSTA website, so you can scroll through here. And it's a really great way to get just like an overview and a little more specific information about all the things we have to offer. There's a couple new things on here. We are excited to partner with Mouse for Google CS First, and we've got the Inclusive STEM and CS Summit. And those are two opportunities that we're going to talk about in this call in particular. So if those are new, that's kind of some new things we're going to talk about today. But if you're just joining us and you weren't here last time and you're kind of curious what opportunities are available for us over the summer, this is a great document that gives you an overview of all of those pieces. And if you're just jumping into the call, oh, thank you, Marie, for linking to the slides. I was just about to do that too. So if you're just joining us in the chat, we're all on the shared slide document. And we were on slide 9. Another thing that I would love to highlight is that at our last community call, we recorded all of the different providers who spoke to the sessions that they're going to offer. And so actually, I am going to share my screen again to show you this. All of the providers who came last week, we heard from Code.org, we heard from Carnegie Mellon, we heard from CS Austin, we heard from Boot Up. All of those got recorded, and all of those got separated out into separate files where you can watch them individually. So if you would like to hear from the actual providers from Boot Up and Carnegie Mellon and Oracle Academy and CSTA, I encourage you to watch some of these videos that are posted on our CSTA channel. And we also have some other resources from the Arizona Computer Science Standards, have a series of videos that are linked down here. And we hope to start updating this with more relevant information for computer science educators in Arizona. But if you're someone who missed the call last week and you see something that looks interesting and you'd like to hear about it rather than read about it, this is a great place to watch some videos on all of those. And so the next section of these slides, in slides 10 and through the rest of them, just kind of give you an overview of some of the things that you might be interested in. For example, if you're an elementary educator and you're wondering what things can I do over the summer to get some computer science professional development and improve my practice and my teaching and my pedagogy for next year, here are some sessions that could be available for you that you might be interested in. We've got Integrating Computational Thinking with Scratch, Code.org CS Fundamentals, and Google CS First are all aimed towards elementary educators, along with the CSTA National Conference and our Inclusive STEM and CS Summit. If you're a middle school educator, on slide 11, you can see some of the other sessions that are available for you. Carnegie Mellon's Python Academy is sort of an introduction to Python, which is appropriate both for a beginning high school course and also an upper level middle school course. Code.org CS Discoveries curriculum is also something available for middle school. And Google CS First is also something that's been very successfully used in middle school as well. So these are all options that are available for middle school educators as well. On slide 12, if you're in the high school area, we sort of have two different sections that you could look at. You could look at introductory courses to computer science. So if your school is looking to offer something that students first dip their feet in with computer science, we have the Python Academy from CMU. We have Code.org CS Discoveries and also Code.org CS Principles class, which could also be offered as an AP. And then if you're already offering an introductory course and you're looking for like a next level, some things that you might consider are the CS Awesome course, which aligns directly to the new AP Computer Science A curriculum. And then also Oracle Academy has a series of professional development experiences that are tied to Java programming and also database programming, which is something we don't see a lot in our high school curriculum, but is definitely relevant. And the nice thing about those courses, especially the Java programming ones, is they align to Arizona's CTE certifications. So if that's something that's on your radar as a high school teacher, you're starting to think about CTE and certifications, these are things that you can look into that align with those pieces. One of the other things that I'm really excited by, on slide 13, we have several opportunities this summer that fit for after-school programs or librarians or clubs or these other niche areas where schools might want to offer computer science or coding or things like that and are looking for some structure and some format for how to do that. Maybe you have had some success running some kind of hour of code event and you've brought middle schoolers and elementary schoolers and things like that into your program, and then they go back and say, well, we want to do more of this. How can we do more of this? We're really excited that we have several opportunities that can function as after-school programs, club programs, librarians can run them. Google CS First is designed for this and works really well. We have Girls Who Code leading several webinars if different schools want to start those clubs in their environment. And the CMU Python Academy, their introductory course can also be adapted to be an after-school or modular model in order to look at all these different models of how you can introduce that course. So that's something that I think is really exciting and also kind of unique. As we think about what computer science education looks like, a lot of the times it doesn't just happen in high school classrooms or even in strict computer science classrooms. And so if we know folks who are interested in dipping their toes in computer science, a lot of these sessions could be really interesting and useful. They're not very long. They're usually half a day at most, or a couple of hours at most. And so it's a really great way to kind of dive into those pieces. The last thing that's on our shared slide deck is on slide 14, which has to do with the CSTA National Conference. This is in July. It's a virtual conference. The cost is $75, but there are scholarships. I believe they're still available, or otherwise the deadline just happened. And they've just released the conference schedule, including highlighted sessions for different grade bands. So if you're a K-5 teacher and you're considering doing the CSTA National Conference, or you've never heard of it and you're just kind of curious about what's available, there are some sessions highlighted that you might be interested in. Same thing if you're in the 6-8 grade band and the 9-12 grade band. So these are things that are available for, if you're interested in the CSTA National Conference, you might want to check out some of those sessions. The full conference schedule is available as well. Some folks on this call are presenting at the CSTA National Conference. Jared's got a couple of sessions on the intersection of computer science and music, as well as elementary coding for elementary classrooms. I'm doing a session on collaborative structures in computer science classrooms. So it's really exciting to see the things that we have available. At this point, I hope that you all are like barely paying attention to me and are kind of exploring these different links and all these resources, because that's like a great thing to do. I forgot to mention this earlier. On slide 15, this is a spot, since this deck is editable, where folks can add notes or questions, especially you in the audience. If you have a question about something that I've said, this is a good place to record that. I've seen some questions pop up in the chat, and it's kind of hard for me to pay attention to that. But one of the nice things about writing those questions here is that then they're recorded and people can see them later instead of having to rely on that chat. So if you had a question for me about all of these, I should have mentioned this earlier and I apologize. Go ahead and put it into the notes document and I can answer it in the notes itself as we go through these. But otherwise, these are our updates for our Arizona CSTA PD. There's so many things available. I think one of the things I saw is questions about cost, and the majority of these are free. The only ones that have a cost are CS Awesome if you don't meet the scholarship criteria, and the code.org ones also have a small fee associated with them that they're also readjusting because it's no longer going to be in person. And so that also potentially has a fee associated with it. Everything else is free. The Oracle Academy is free. CMU Academy is free. The Integrating Computational Thinking with Scratch is free. And this is a nice segue into our next section, our next presenter on slide 17, our brand new computer science offering this summer that I'm super excited about. We're going to be able to offer a workshop on Google CS First, led by Mouse. And if anyone in the audience was here last year at our in-person CSPD week, we had a session on CS First that was led by a gentleman from Mouse named Tom, and he came out and led a really great session. And so now that we're virtual, we're really excited to be able to partner with Mouse again and bring this together. And so I'm going to pause for a sec because Carlos from Mouse is on the call, and I think he turned on his video. Hey, Carlos. All right, so I'll stop talking and pass it over to Carlos, and he's going to tell us about Mouse. Carlos, feel free to share your screen if you would like, or keep following this model that we're doing here. And for all of us in the audience, if we have questions that come up on slide 18, there's a place to post questions. So after Carlos goes through everything he's talking about, we can look over at that slide and see what's available. Okay, I'm so happy to stop talking.
I'm just sending a little quick note. Hello all, greetings from New York City. Hope you all are staying safe in Arizona. As Danny mentioned earlier, I'm not from Arizona, so what the heck am I doing on this call? I'm here to talk a little bit about Google CS First, which is a partnership we have with Google for their education. That's their social responsibility wing of the organization, and they work with education programs. So some of you may remember the Google grants for CS opportunities from I think like 3 or 4 years ago. This was a basically the second iteration of what their CS education initiatives were going to look like. So after working with partners, us being one of them in Mission and South Texas and New York City, they decided to try out professional development. We worked with them last year, yes, it was last spring, on developing a 3-hour and initially a 3-hour workshop on the fundamentals of CS using Scratch. So this course, some of you that may be familiar, used to be a club which was intended for informal learning environments or after-school programs. It still can work that way, but they were really trying to make a pitch to have more schools use Google CS First in classrooms as they recognized that there was a building interest in computer science education. It's an introductory course, and it's broken up into several themes that could align nicely with certain ELA topics, math topics. There is a variety of different sort of skins to them. They can focus on music, they can focus on fashion, they can focus on game design. And it's really to get students introduced to computer science via Scratch. As an introductory course, it's not going to be as extensive as other programs like the ones offered by Boot Up or even code.org CS Fundamentals, but it is a great opportunity to get kids interested There's no cost to attend. We are asking first registrants to teach in Title I programs, but if anyone shows up, we're not going to kick you out of the call. We welcome everyone. And especially get the word out for friends and family that are really interested in trying out computer science for the first time, and they want to know how it is to get started, either with their own kids or with their students during summer or back in the school year. The workshop is 90 minutes, so it is fairly quick, and it will allow you to sort of get started with CS First, do a couple of activities on Google CS First, understand the curriculum and dashboard, as well as a quick intro to Scratch, which is, of course, the block-based programming language from MIT. The registration dates are there. We're running 2 dates, one in I believe it's morning for Arizona, and one in the afternoon. I'll pause there in case there's any questions. Other than that, the registration links are on the slide. Well, not on this slide. Where are they actually?
I was just going to grab them and post them in as well. They're definitely on our CSTA website. And let me see if I can. Oh, that's right. We did 2 of them in June. There's one on June 17th, and then another one on June 22nd. And so on slide 18, we're adding those registration links.
Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, and I'll pause. If there are any questions, you can add them into the chat or also on the slide as well. And we'll pause if there's any questions or comments.
I think we're good.
Well, thank you, Carlos. Thanks for joining us. I know it's very late where you are, so very much so appreciated. If you need to hop off the call due to the time, that is totally fine. And I would echo what Carlos said about folks looking to dip their feet into computer science, both as a participant and also as a potential educator of it. Bringing in computer science into their schools. This is such a cool opportunity. Awesome. So moving right along. On slide 19, another new opportunity that has become available is the Inclusive STEM and CS Summit. And so this is taking place in the summer on June 19th. Of course, it's in the summer, June 19th through 20th. And on slide 20, there's a little blurb that's been made available that you can look through. I'm not going to read slide 20 to you, but this came out of the work of one of CSTA's National Equity Fellows. And so CSTA started a program last year where they got a group of educators together with a real focus on equity in computer science. And one of those fellows, Shauna V. White, I'm not sure if this was the outcome of her work or just a happy byproduct of things she's interested in anyway, wanted to put together a virtual summit that was representative of groups that are not typically represented in computer science. And so if you look on slide 21, you can see the panelists that are available here. And even though I just said not represented in computer science, this forum, this event, is a true STEM event. There are some sessions here about science, about engineering, about mathematics. It goes from all grade levels from K through 12. The math teacher in me sees sessions that I really enjoy. The computer science teacher in me sees sessions that look really interesting. And they put together a really wonderful event with a diverse group of people. And also from one of CSTA's equity fellows put this together as well. On slides 22 and 23, it might be kind of hard to read, but the agenda and the sessions are available here. And there's also a link on slides 22 and 23 where you can go to the website and see them a little bit bigger. And what I thought we would do is pause for a little bit, and as a group, as we look over those sessions, if there's one that stands out to us as looking particularly interesting or speaks to us as educators that we might be interested in learning more about, that we would love to attend, I'd like to invite you to put that in the chat. And so if you see a session that sticks out to you, that looks really interesting and speaks to you, feel free to put that there. or feel free to just look around at the other resources. But we'll take a minute to see what we as Arizona educators think might be really interesting and worthwhile in this agenda. And I'll pause for us to do that.
Dan, are we putting these on the slide 13? Is that what we're doing?
We're going to put them in the chat, in the Zoom chat.
Okay. Did you also see my question on slide 13 with regards to the Oracle Academy?
Yeah, I was going to come back to that when we have like another pausing moment later. Yeah, thanks, Paul. It looks like in the chat, some math folks have noticed the humanizing mathematics session, which I think looks really awesome as well. Sarah's noticed some of the elementary sessions that are available, which is something I appreciate about the schedule, that it has something for all grade levels in there. As you continue to dig into the schedule, whether or not you're able to attend this, and whether or not this like suits your interests, we wanted to highlight this because we're not sure that we've seen any other type of PD offering like this in the summer virtual space that's out there. And especially when you dig in a little deeper into the sessions and the implications of it, and if you go on the website and read some of the speaker bios, this is a really unique opportunity. The dates for this event are June 19th and 20th. It's either $25 or $30 registration fee for both days. And you can see in the initial slide, they go to support organizations that promote underrepresented groups in computer science. Our registration is $30, and it says there. And I would encourage you, if this looks interesting to you, there are probably also math teachers and science teachers in your building that this would also look good for. Oh, Danelle has pointed out that there are only 70-ish spots left. So if you're interested in registering, you might want to do that soon. Thank you very much. I think this is a really great opportunity. I encourage you to share this with other educators, not just in the computer science sphere, but in the STEM sphere, who might be interested in this type of really unique summit. On slide 24, there are more information, more links for you to look at, more places for you to investigate. They have a Twitter account where they've been highlighting different presenters and different sessions. And so that is also something worthwhile to look at. Cool. Oh, awesome. And some people just registered. I'll pause if there are questions in the chat, or if you wanted to add it on slide 25. But this is the Inclusive STEM and CS Summit. There's also a link to it on our website as well. Cool. That wraps up the portion of this call that focuses on all of our professional development opportunities. And so there's a lot going on, lots to sign up for. There's so many cool things going on. We hope you can spread the word. We hope that you're registering for these if it suits your interests. And especially as you potentially hear of teachers over the summer where all of a sudden they get the news, it's like, oh no, I need to teach computer science next year. It just kind of fell in my lap. I don't know what I'm going to do. Many of us, I think, can relate to that. And so when we hear those stories, hopefully this organization and this website and these opportunities come to mind as places to send those folks who all of a sudden are facing a computer science classroom, because there are lots of supports out there, and a lot of those supports are, for the most part, free. And so that's also good to know about. Okay, moving right along, on slide 27, we are excited to talk about this opportunity that's available through the National Computer Science Teachers Association. They received a federal research grant, and under the goals of increasing participation for English language learners in computer science classes. And so this grant was going to be pushed out this year, but with everything happening with COVID-19, it shifted a little bit. And at this point, what they are looking for, and you can see this on slide 27, is they're looking for teacher leaders who can help test strategies, develop lesson materials, and ways to support English language learners specifically in computer science principles. So first of all, acknowledging that this isolates several people on this call. This is an opportunity only for folks who are teaching AP computer science principles, or just computer science principles without the AP portion. But if we know someone who has had success with English language learners in their classroom and providing opportunities for them and them showing success on the exam, our National Computer Science Organization is looking for those teachers and is looking for those types of resources to then build that out into a broader program that provides PD for all sorts of other places. So if that describes you, if you have experience working with English language learners, not even necessarily current English language learners, but are students who would be classified as ELL students, even if they entered an elementary school or middle school. And maybe now they speak perfect English, but English is not their first language. I know that describes like 90% of the students I work with. If that's where your teaching context is, that is definitely something for you to consider. Palmer has pointed out, and this is very true on slide 28, one of the nice details about this towards the bottom is there's a $4,500 stipend associated with this that gets paid directly to the teacher. And so if you're listening to this call and you have this experience with ELL students, especially with CS principals, and you're looking to contribute back to the broader computer science ecosystem and get paid $4,500, this is a really awesome opportunity. I'm going to pause before I go on a little further, and I'm going to put someone on the spot. I noticed that Jason just joined our call from the National CSTA organization, and I was just talking about the Teacher Leader Program. Do you want to add anything to what I was just talking about?
No, the only thing I'll say is I caught just the tail end, is that we've already had 40 applicants, which is surprising. We didn't think we were going to get so many so fast. So if you're interested, I encourage you to apply now, early, and throw your hat in the ring. I know we were looking at Arizona as a target area. So it was Arizona, New Mexico, southern states. So I would love to encourage you. I'm glad that you're sharing this with everybody, and I'd love to encourage more participants in Arizona teaching. That's all the information there. Of course, you can always reach out to me or Erica Burt. I think her email is on there. She's in charge of that program, so she'll have all the answers for you. I can have some of the answers. A few.
Awesome. Very cool. So actually speaking of targeting certain areas, that brings us to like the next phase of this grant. So recruiting for teacher leaders is this first year of this grant phase where they are looking for these focus groups and looking for folks with these experiences to build out these resources and try out these ideas. The next phase of this grant, which would start in the 21-22 school year, is inviting schools and districts to participate as recipients of this professional development experience. So that's on slide 29. And on slide 29, it talks about sort of the next stage of this, which is if we're going to increase participation of English language learners in computer science, it's not just finding the people who are already doing it well, but it's also reaching out and providing PD to folks in those areas and folks with those experiences looking to do more. And so if you hear this and think to yourself, well, I work with a lot of English language learner students, but I don't feel like I'm a master teacher yet. I feel like I haven't like done any of the, I don't have the skills to share yet with others, which is how I feel 90% of the time working with English language learners. Like I feel like there's always more for me to do. If that's relatable to you as a high school teacher with computer science principles, the next stage of this grant would be to participate as a recipient of PD and a recipient of these lessons and a recipient of the things that have been learned from these teacher leaders. That is a program that also includes a teacher stipend. It also includes professional development. It also includes professional development for a principal and a counselor at your school. And this is really the focus of the grant. This first year of doing the teacher leaders is something that came out of the COVID-19 crisis and us needing to adapt a little bit. But the real meat and focus of the grant is this other part, finding schools who would like to participate in receiving professional development, getting paid for their time, testing out resources, and seeing how that increases participation of English language learners on these computer science exams. So if that sounds more like something you'd be interested in, there are resources on slides 29 and 30. There's more information on those pieces to apply for and potentially not this coming school year, but the next school year, receive some of this professional development, receive some of these resources available, and participate in trying to expand computer science for our English language learners. So that's the second part of this grant. Jason, I notice you're still unmuted. Did you want to add anything to that part?
No.
Okay.
You got it all. I mean, you hit all the points. That's the meat and the bulk of the whole thing.
Oh, and I notice on slide 31, a very excellent note has been added from Dan Stormont, our regional TEALS rep, stating that TEALS classes are also eligible for this. And so if you're looking to bring computer science to your school, or you're already a TEALS school, perhaps connect with Dan and see how you can be a part of this grant and be a part of the receiving end of this to frankly, to receive PD that's very relevant to us as Arizona teachers, like 100% relevant to us. Very awesome. I will pause for a moment. I see we have a couple questions coming in. I also saw some things on the chat. So I think I see a question in the chat about if it's CS principles for the AP classes or the non-AP classes. My understanding is that it's for any CS principles class, at least the teacher leader portion. The second phase with the districts participating in the PD appears to be just the AP course, because that's probably the measurable piece of it. All the language on that second phase participating in the PD mentions AP, but not all the language on the teacher leader. Well, no, it says AP computer science. It says AP. That's probably something for me to double check.
I can check in on that and get back.
Cool. Thanks, Jason. Very cool.
Yeah, I read a whole bunch of information on the CSTA website with regards to this class and the structure coming up for the teacher leaders, and it does say EL, it does not say AP. So that's why I was curious, because I'm not at a high school, but I teach a high school credit class as a non-AP class.
Got it. Well, I think, so thanks for bringing that up. I think Jason's going to look into that. Looks like he's making a note about it. Yeah. Cool. All right, Palmer, we'll get back to you. Cool. All right, moving right along on slide 32. This one will probably go fast. This is probably something that could have been in an email, but we'll spend a moment talking about it. The Computer Science Teacher Association has partnered with the Kapoor Center to create a survey as a way to hear teacher voices and accumulate that data, aggregate that data, and then turn that into policy recommendations that then go out to local governments and state governments. My understanding is that this is not necessarily, there's different surveys going around these days, and a lot of them that I see are kind of COVID-19 related, like what are things you need related to COVID-19. My understanding is that this survey, even though it perhaps contains pieces of that, this is more just about computer science education generally, more about the big picture of spreading computer science? What are the resources that we need as computer science educators? What things do states need to put in place in order to be successful? And that's kind of the lens to look at this survey. There's more information on slide 33. If you are on this call and have a moment, feel free to click the link that says this national survey, and you can start filling that out. Also acknowledging that folks on this call perhaps have their own networks of people and have their own cadre of computer science educators that they can spread this around to. And so if that sounds like you and you would like to spread the word about this survey as well, on slide 34, there is a link to some templates that you can use on social media or in emails or things like that. If you would like to also spread the word to your particular networks and let perhaps other CTE teachers know, or perhaps other elementary teachers know, or all of your TEALS teachers know, looking at you, Dan, about this opportunity if you would like to. And so that is what this national survey is. If you'd like to take a minute to fill it out, that'd be great. If you want to wait until after the call, that would also be good. And this is something that just helps get our voices heard as we try and spread computer science and make it more equitable and accessible to students around the nation. Yeah. All right, we're coming up on the end of the agenda for the community call. And in this part, we're going to check back in with our community updates. And if folks have added different pieces to this, we'll pause and take a moment and chat about those. I'm going to share my screen with you. And we can see some of the things that have been added. One of the first one, if a lot of folks on this call might overlap as math teachers, and another Arizona-specific math PD option that's happening is through the University of Arizona Center for Recruitment and Retention of Math Teachers. They have their summer institute that's now online. There is no fee to participate and comes with a stipend. The CRR is a Tucson and Arizona institution. Anyone who's a math teacher in Tucson knows about this group. They do amazing PD, and they also do very results-driven PD. Like when you look at the data that they generate from the structure that they do things and the methodology, and then how it gets implemented, and then how kids do passing classes and on tests, it's very impressive. So if things overlap in your world with being a math teacher, this is absolutely something that I would encourage you to check out. And below that, it looks like we have another opportunity from Vhs Learning. It looks like Jeremy put this on here, and I know Jeremy's on the call.
Yeah,
Jeremy,
hey Dan, how you doing?
Take a minute. Hey, you want to speak to this for a little bit?
Sure. So I'm the computer science curriculum coordinator for vhslearning.org. We basically provide courses that rural schools can't find a teacher for. And not just computer science, like the whole gamut. We're a nonprofit. We're part of the CS for All initiative that was started by President Obama. And we're looking for teachers. We're looking for computer science teachers. We pay what I think is competitively. We train you. You can go through a graduate level course. And we're looking for people in AP Computer Science A, Computer Science Principles, cybersecurity, video game design, and programming and Visual Basic. And so you get the same set of kids for the whole year or the whole semester. It's usually about 6 to 8 hours of work per week and grading. You log in during school days, at least once for a couple minutes a day to answer questions. It's a great company. Because they're nonprofit, which a lot of other online providers are for profit, we have a different motivation. I think we are allowed to care just a little bit more for our students. And you got me for support. So the curriculum is all set, all done, and we just need caring, empathetic people that are really excited about computer science. So I didn't want to take a lot of time, but my information's on there. If you're interested in part-time work for this summer or fall and spring, please shoot me an email.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeremy. I got a private message that I should probably stop sharing my screen so we could see your face. So hopefully you all could see Jeremy talking on the Zoom call. Jeremy and I worked together for a while. He's a very friendly person. And so I highly encourage you, if you're interested, reach out to him. And this seems like a cool opportunity. Scrolling down through, I'm on now, looks like page 3. And there's a headline here from the TEALS program. And so I know Dan is on the call. Dan, do you want to jump on and talk about the TEALS program?
Sure, Dan. Actually, you already mentioned what I shared, which was that we have been contacted by Erica Burke, and we're partnering with CSTA on the CS4L program, which is a lot of CS4 things. Other than that, it's a little too late to apply to be a TEALS program school for next year, unfortunately. We're actually finishing up our volunteer recruiting right now, but start thinking about it for the following year, because next fall I'll be starting school recruiting again. So that's where I'm at. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Cool. A little bit lower on page 4, we have an announcement from Fizz, and I know Alan is on the call. Alan, do you want to say a few words about Fizz?
Oh, yes, please. Hey, thanks, Dan. All right. So, yeah, Fizz is a private company. We are a PD and curriculum provider for grades 6 through 12. And we are focusing on professional development, obviously, for the summer. And we have very affordable PD courses, starting with physical computing and Raspberry Pi, getting us through Python, and then all the way to APCSA and CSP. We're also working on releasing a few new courses here for next school year, including a data science course and web design and cybersecurity. And I'm actually actively seeking for a pilot candidate. A single school, doesn't have to be large or small, rural or urban, pretty flexible, with or without computer science experience. So we're going to offer a full and limited package to our curriculum and PD courses. And that's would be a great time to start now, because teachers can adopt the PD courses over the summer and be prepared to use our online learning management system through a browser for next school year. And it's a full year pilot, and it's valued at $2,500 a year, but our pilot candidates would get a discount for 20% off the following year. So if anybody could recommend a school, or if you work for one or are interested, feel free to reach out to me. My contact's there on the document.
Alan, way to bury the lead. Let me see if I understand this. So, and I in the document, I bolded it and made it bigger. I made those edits. So you're looking for a school.
Thank you.
To pilot this. It's the full package of one of your courses or all of your courses? All courses. So it's unlimited access to all of our curriculum for unlimited teachers and students. A lot of vendors would provide licenses fees for a certain amount of students per course. So this unlimited package provides unlimited licenses for all, and as many students as there are at a school. And so the intent behind this is for you all to kind of do like some piloting and things like that. And then also for the school to see, how implementing this is and things like that. Correct. Yep. And all we ask for is an honest review and some feedback. And we sure would like to adopt the school as a full-time customer for a 20% discount the following year, but not required. Got it. So there's definitely that, sales pitch aspect to it. But the year of piloting it out and getting it out there and like seeing if you like it, that is excellent. Cool. Correct. Cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks, Alan. I'm excited to turn that into a news story and send it out to our members and things like that. Oh, please do. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah. And let's see. Oh, very excellent. We have another one that is being added. I see Sarah has added some pieces about the computer science micro-credential. Oh, this is so cool. Sarah, you're on the call. Hey, you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to. Right now, we are working with Bloomboard to set up the very first micro-credential pilot program for this will be a focus for K through 8th grade educators, where they'll go in and be able to take the micro-credential for free this first time around as we try it out for the first time with educators in Arizona. So we want to really be able to integrate more computer science into the K-8 classroom, where in high school we're really focusing on our computer science PD grant. So this is something that right now our team is really looking for different educators that would want to be part of this process. And so in this, we are looking for multiple teachers at one district or one site, so they could almost be a team together. So we're looking for between 3 to 5 that could potentially almost be partners in the project to have each other to help them get through this. So that is an opportunity. That's something I've reached out to a few sites already, and I've had some responses back to people that want to come in. What we'll do is, if this is something that interests you at your district level or your site level, is we're going to set up a phone call to explain a little bit more about what the parameters are of this program and what the pilot will be.
Okay, that was awesome. So I was adding notes as you spoke. So 2 questions I have just to clarify. The goal of this, you said, was to like go through the micro-credential program. So teachers who participate should leave with the endorsement from ADE as part of their certificate. That's
part of the goal of this program. Yes. So more elementary educators are comfortable including and being inclusive to computer science in the classroom.
Okay, cool. And then the next steps, I heard you say that like a phone call is the next step and a conference. How do folks put their name in the hat for that next step?
Just be a quick email to me. I'm really interested in this. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? And so I'm working with our Deputy Associate Superintendent right now on doing reach out to different really superintendents right now is who our reach out to is. But I thought that because I have people on this call, that I would like to just share that opportunity with you. So if that's something you would like for your district or your site, reach out to me because I can probably get your area in on that list so we could start some of this conversation.
That's awesome. I hope it wasn't too loud with me typing as you did that. That's really cool. This is so neat. Thank you to whoever corrected me. I think I wrote Bloomberg and then someone corrected it to Bloomboard. So good call on that. And then Sarah, if you just want to maybe add your email address to that Google Doc, that'd be great too. Very cool. Look at all these community announcements that are happening. I didn't think we'd get this many with like school year winding down, but there's so much happening. I know another thing that's happening. I know on the call we have Danelle Hogan from the STEMazing program, and she's been doing a bunch of awesome things. Danelle, you want to tell us like what's been going on in your world?
Yeah. Can I share my screen real quick? Do you mind?
Yeah, go for it. Oh, I disabled this earlier. I have to, sorry. I just re-enabled it.
Okay. And so I'm with this amazing project, which is based in Tucson out of the Pima County School Superintendent's Office, but we love to share everything with everyone. In particular, of particular interest for this group, if you go to our resource collection, we have this collection of what we're calling binary mic drop math lessons. We used to call them magic and math tricks, but the math education people are pretty sensitive about that, as am I. Anybody that knows about my physics trick knows that. This collection of lessons allows you to engage students with the patterns associated with some mic drop math that you can do with these binary number cards. This is also accessible to kids that are very young. We have dots on the back of them, so if kids can count up to these numbers, then they can do this mic drop math as well. They, based on feedback from teachers, then we developed the build your own cards so students can actually understand where do the numbers come from that are on those cards. So they're building their competency related to binary. And then this is super cool. If you haven't seen this great lesson from CS Unplugged that's about parity bits and how computers do error detection and correction. It's great, but then they left it without actually showing how you could encode a message using zeros and ones with ASCII, which I thought was devastating. So I took it from there and added that message piece to it, and then added also an arts piece. For those of us who are a bit older, you might remember ASCII art from original emails, where you would use the ASCII characters to create pieces of art that went into email. So that's kind of an extension on the art side of that. And then still in development and very rough is this multiply this mic drop math, which is inspired from a number file video. If you don't know number file, you absolutely should follow them. But there is a really cool algorithm that the Russians and a slightly different one that the Egyptians, ancient Egyptians used more than 4 millennia ago to multiply two numbers that actually is based on a combination of binary and decimal numbers that are fascinating. And so we're starting to unpack that and let students investigate a couple of different algorithms that are non-traditional for multiplying numbers. So this is cool. We did just do a workshop on this with the CRR that Dan mentioned earlier. But I'm sure that we'll repeat that again. So if you just follow us either on Facebook or Twitter, which you can find from our website, then you can do that. You can keep track of when we're doing something that might be useful for you all. And then Sarah Barker, who's very active in this group and on here, we've been planning for her to do a workshop on Turing tumbles for a long time, which are these physical games that teach a lot of awesome coding strategies. And so that will be happening sometime this next school year. I really hate to say it because, and she can tell you, it's been like we've had it on the books and then it gets rescheduled. So that's something else to look forward to. We also will have continue our suite of Edison robot workshops in the fall as well. So if you want to learn about Edison robots, then we have a contract with them where we can give away a free robot. So it usually costs $25 and you'll get about $100 worth of free loot to come to the first workshop. And then we have a series of 3 that we generally do. And we are probably starting that series virtually, as is everybody else. So you'll have to pick up some stuff from us, or we might be able to, if you're not here in Tucson, we might be able to arrange to ship some stuff to you. But that's kind of what we're doing that's most related to this group here.
Yeah, and so just to clarify, like I know the STEMazing project is through the Pima County Superintendent's Office, but anyone can attend these, no matter where they are.
Yeah, I mean, if we start to get like, you know, half the people from outside of Pima County, then we might start to change our rules. But for now, we're happy to have everybody come and fill them up.
That's awesome. And I know also there were some of the things you're talking about, these mic drop math and the binary tricks. You were doing workshops through the Department of Education, I think, too, right? They were up on
yeah,
80.
Well, so we're doing sciencing and engineering through ADE. And then also of interest to this group, we hope to be doing, we're still working out the details, but we're hoping to also do some Twitter for PD workshops, which are more general, but also just how to use Twitter as a professional development tool. And it can be really amazing, but there are some hints and tricks that make it better faster. And so we'd like to share those with teachers based on feedback from our own teacher leaders that I've kind of shoved into the Twitter world as a professional development tool.
Awesome. Thanks, Danelle. So I sent you the link to the Google Doc that we've been looking at. If you wanted to add some of your information there and some links to things, that'd be really great. And then we turn that into newsletters that got sent out. And I also noticed on that Google Doc, a new thing got added, the CS STEM series. And I see Sarah's unmuted herself. Do you want to talk about that?
I'm going to actually have Sean Abley because she's the one that I hosted, but she's actually the presenter. So we've been lucky to have her come in and do some work with computer science as well as Danelle. So why don't you explain that for us, Sean?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sean Abley, and I am with Gilbert Public Schools. And we are doing a STEM series with the Department of Ed. And you missed the first one, but there's still time to get in for the second and third parts of the series. So on June 4th, we're going to be talking about computer science resources for the K-5 classroom. And on June 11th, meeting the computer science standards with code.org. So free, they're filling up fast. So go ahead and sign up. I put the link on that Google Doc. Thanks.
I can tell you the last one she did for us on really infusing technology into the STEM world. It wasn't as computer science focused, but it also does bring those different attributes in, as that our registration was completely filled and we weren't able to allow any others in. So registration is really filling up for hers, and she does a really great job presenting. We're lucky to have her.
That is awesome. This is incredible. This is amazing. There's we now at CSTA have our work cut out for us. All the things that go in these community updates, we turn into stories that go on our websites. We try and parse them out by like different regions and things that are associated with us, and we'll send them out in our newsletter coming out probably in the beginning of June, middle of June. We're coming up at 5:30. You know, you've spent an hour of time with us, and we really appreciate it. I did a lot of talking, and I hope you all did a lot of exploring and looking around at things. parts of the goals of this is that now you have lots of contact information, different opportunities to pursue, different things to follow up with. So please feel free to send us an email at CSTA or any of our community partners that post in these updates, anything you see in there that you are interested in. And also in this shared slide deck, way back at the beginning, you may have noticed other folks in your region that joined the call. And so if you are looking for allies in your area, to continue to look into things related to computer science, to take PDs together, to form your own little PLCs. Perhaps take a look at those first couple of slides in our slide deck, so you can see other folks in your region and perhaps hear from our regional directors, things like that. Otherwise, I say that this meeting is over. Thank you all for coming. This has been recorded. We will post it later. These documents will live on for you to refer to later. Reach out to us if you have any questions. And our CSTA board members will stick around on the call to have our board meeting. And thanks for spending time with us. We can wave goodbye to everyone.